cord to this computer. All right. So, welcome to our presentation. And yes, from Ottawa. Love it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. This is all about profiting from any market, and that's the smart method that a lot of investors are using right now while everybody panics. Everybody is talking about recession, and those are all words that people tend to panic from. For us as investors, these are this is like music to our ears, and we wait for these type of opportunities for a long time. And so the key is in profiting from any market, and that's what we're going to talk about here. Now, this is going to be a very short presentation, and I don't think we'll even spend more than an hour here together. Ultimately, I want to share with you the opportunity and the asset class that you guys should be investing in. But it's hard to solve all the world's problems, and so we're going to come back to Ottawa in person. I'm actually in Los Angeles right now. For those of you that are in Ottawa, put in the chat box. What is the temperature? What is the temperature right now in Ottawa? Put in the chat box. I'd like to know. What is the temperature in Ottawa right now? So where I'm at, actually today was kind of like 20, 22 or yeah, about 22. It's a little chilly. -6. Oh my goodness, -6. Oh boy. Well, it's getting warmer. It's getting warmer. I just came back from Miami, actually. I was in Miami and I was getting off a cruise. We went to the Dutch ABC Islands, and we spent about 8 days out there, and got off that cruise. It was plus 30 every day. I arrived in Los Angeles, believe it or not. I'm from Ottawa, but I arrived in Los Angeles and I was freezing cold. So how quickly we adjust to these temperatures. So -6. I'm coming back there. I'll be back there next week for our event. So hopefully we get to see you guys. So that's primarily we're going to talk about the opportunities in the market. We're going to talk about the type of asset classes that you guys should be investing in, and we're going to be talking about this boot camp that I have coming up in Ottawa, in person in Ottawa, in the South End there. So welcome to everyone that's made it. Uh, this is a perfect picture of what people are attracted to in terms of recession, and this is just all media narratives that they want to push on people. Now, the beauty about economic downturns is that the companies that and a lot of these companies, and we're talking about thousands of different companies that have started during economic downturns, recessions, depressions, economic downturns are all key indicators that if you want to take leaps and bounds in whatever business that you're in, you have the opportunity to grow with the economy. So for investors like me, someone that's been investing for now going on 30 years, this is exactly where we want to live. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. There's a lot of noise. People are distracted, and that's the good news. The good news is while everybody's distracted right now, it's our opportunity. So, what does the road look like for you? What is it that you're trying to accomplish in real estate? And are you taking massive action right now during a time of massive opportunity? I want to share how you can optimize and maximize the opportunities that are right now. It's mixed in with, you know, the the softening of the real estate market with action, the actions that you take, and the next 6 months moving forward. And we'll talk about that as well. Canadians right now are pretty much sitting on the sidelines, and a lot of Canadians, a lot of March 6th and 8th. So hopefully you're coming. Uh, yeah, March 6th and 8th. When is the Ottawa Bootcamp? Yeah, the March 6th and 8th. So hopefully you guys are coming. and would love to see you guys there. Would love to see you guys there in person. Obviously, I don't have the time here, in the hour that we're going to spend together to solve all the world's problems. But, if anything that I share with you today resonates with you, hey, come and meet me in Ottawa. I know there's someone here from Montreal. Hey, come to Montreal. From Montreal, come to Ottawa. It's, I can do it in an hour and 45 minutes. Okay. From downtown Montreal to Ottawa, hour 45 minutes, and you can book yourself a hotel, stay, focus, and learn about all the opportunities. So the key is you got to take action when other people are not willing to take action. Right now, if you see Canadians are sitting on the sidelines, they become spectators. They're frozen. And right now, in terms of real estate, Canadians are thinking it's too risky right now. People are waiting for the perfect time, the perfect rate, the perfect deal. Meanwhile, life is just getting more expensive. You know, inflation is doing its thing, and we are going to have to print a lot more money to be able to sustain the government and all the expenses that we have as a nation. And that's just going to push inflation up. And so while people think that waiting is a good option, they're not storing their value. So you need to store your value. You need to store your wealth against hard assets. And so life is just going to get more and more expensive because they keep on printing more and more money. And again, there's nothing backing up that money. At the end of the day, it's just fiat currency. And so you right now, this is your opportunity. So if not now, when? If not now, when? If not now, during the greatest wealth transfer in human history, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. If not now, when we have, cheap money or in a lot of inventory on the market, we're going to see the biggest opportunities in the next 6 months. If not now, then when? This doesn't work. So people trying to time the market, and we see a lot of people just trying to time the market. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. That's how it works. Um, it's not about following the headlines and clickbait and getting advice from people that don't are not qualified to give you that advice. You can't sit there and hope for the prices to drop or listen to friend agents or random influencers that don't understand investing. All right. So the people you should listen to, the professionals or the people that you should listen to are people that are actually living the life that you're trying to live, and they're doing the things that you're trying to do. The issue with this is that it can leave you overwhelmed because there's a lot of contradictory information. Some people are telling you to jump in, some people are telling you hold on, and that can be overwhelming because ultimately what happens is people tend to just freeze. And so the problem is not the market itself. The problem is that most people are taught to chase the market, except instead of learning how to profit from any market. And so if you remember in 2021, 2022, at the height of the market, everybody and their grandmother was a real estate investor. Everybody was a real estate genius back in 2021. And you saw everybody trying, they would buy real estate at any price, 101 offers. It didn't matter. We're just going to buy it because it's always going to go up in value. And so those were speculators. And what they didn't realize is that they were at the very height of financial risk. And so as the market shifted, as the market changed, as things became normal, as money started to increase in value in terms of the interest rate, this money got more expensive, things started to cool down, and the people that over leveraged, the people that went in at the very height of the market, those are the people that tend to typically um, exit and they bail. So the way it works is people enter at the height of the market, 96% of the people at the height, and they bail at the bottom, right? And so The worst time to sell a property is when you have to. If you don't have if you put yourself in a position where you don't have to sell, then you don't expose yourself to risk. And so that means that the asset class has to change. And the strategy is how to buy real estate that can survive any market and how can you profit from any market. And so that those are some of the differences between 96% of the people out there and actual investors that are taking action. So if you feel uncertain, well, that's normal because there's a market sentiment. I felt this way back in 2020 when my wife and I took massive action, bought millions of dollars of real estate in a short window of time. I felt uncertain back in 2008 and through 2009 when there was the global economic collapse and economic meltdown. And I went in there and I took massive action and I grew leaps and bounds, but I still felt uncertain. I felt uncertain during the dot-com bust, where everybody was freaking out and we didn't know what was going to happen. And, instead, I took massive action during that time. I felt uncertain in 1995 when I was starting my business in 1995 and someone said to me, "You can't start a business. There's a recession." And I always tell people, "Thank God I didn't know the meaning of the word." It might have stopped me, right? So people feel uncertain right now, and I'm gonna just share it with you. It's normal, you know, fear of making the wrong move, feeling stuck, feeling behind financially, and feeling like if you once had a dream of freedom and achieving freedom, like that dream is like slipping away. And so a lot of people are feeling this way, and it's all valid. But the key is you have to be willing to do the things that other people are not willing to do. You see, the same wind blows on us all. The same financial wind blows on everyone. The same interest rate wind blows on everyone. The same market sentiment is blowing on everyone. So it's not just exclusive to you. The interest rates didn't get jacked for only you. They were jacked for everybody. Everyone was playing within the same playing field, right? And so ultimately, the same wind blows on us all. What does that mean? It means that we all are experiencing the same financial circumstances, and there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And so we are looking at, and again, this is just my opinion here, but we're looking at, maybe the next 6 months as the months of the most opportunity. And so this particular event is for people that want to take action and optimize and maximize on that opportunity that's coming within the next 6 months. Every time there's been an economic downturn, my experience has been take massive action. And so here, I'm only sharing with you guys my experience. I am in no way trying to advise you to do anything. But that's what I'm doing, right? I am taking massive action right now. My wife and I were buying millions of dollars in real estate in the next 6 months, the same way we did back in 2020, the same thing that we did back in 2009, the same thing that we did in the early 2000s. And so, despite the uncertainty and and people that really get ahead, is these are the times that people get really ahead. And so I have that event coming up, Ottawa, March 6th and 8th. I think somebody had posted it there in the chat. Maybe you guys already have tickets. I'm not sure. But we're going to be back here. There's a virtual event, but that's sold out. So don't worry about that virtual event. It's already sold out. It's already in progress. So, I did already a session, so you already missed the first day. But the in-person event is really the event that I want to make sure that I share with you guys. That's March 6th, 7th, and 8th. And we'll talk about that. But we're going to talk about multifamily land development, U.S. investing, and raising capital. So at the beginning of the presentation, I did talk about the greatest wealth transfer in human history. And that's exactly what's happening now. And that's the great opportunity that is in front of us right now. The baby boomers, which were the population segment that changed every industry as from the moment they were born, are now all exiting portfolios, real estate, businesses, and unfortunately for some of them, life. And the next generation, because there was no financial literacy taught for more than 60 years, that next generation really is not about accumulating wealth or accumulating assets. And so that next generation, not everybody, some of that wealth transfer will go to their families, but a big portion of that wealth is now available to the average person. And so this here is the greatest wealth transfer in human history, and no one is talking about it. People are talking about all kinds of garbage, all kinds of noise. People are distracted. This is what they should be talking about. Because for the very first time in human history, the average person has an opportunity to accumulate wealth. For the first time, women will have wealth in a significant way. People that never had an opportunity before, people that have multiple generations of poverty in their background have an opportunity of gaining significant wealth. People of color will have significant wealth. And the question that you have to ask yourself is on which side of this wealth transfer do you want to be on? On which side of the wealth transfer do you want to be on? That's the question that you have to ask yourself because right now, this is happening right in front of our eyes, and people are distracted. You know, the I was on a cruise. I got on a cruise a couple from, I was on a cruise for 8 days or whatnot, and all I hear about is Bad Bunny and what did Trump say and this and that the other. Guys, none of that is going to put money in your pockets. None of that is going to help you move forward on this wealth transfer. And I get it. We don't know what's going on. Are taxes on or taxes off? We don't know what's going on, guys. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of distractions while other people are taking action. Listen to me closely. We are currently living through the best of times. No matter what anybody tells you, there's never been more opportunity than there is right now. $124 trillion in assets is set to change hands in the upcoming years. 124 trillion. We have an opportunity in front of us, and it's a window of about 6 months. It's the same thing that I shared with everyone back in 2020. I told everybody there's an opportunity within 6 months. At the end of 2020, that opportunity was gone. My wife and I, we took massive action. We bought millions of dollars in real estate, and this is the same type of market that we're in right now. And so that's the question that your great great grandkids will ask you one day. Is it true that you were alive during the time of the great wealth transfer of 2026 when we had a 6 month window of opportunity? What are you going to say? What are you going to say to your great great grandkids? Again, I'm not giving you any advice here, and I'm not telling you what to do. Do your own research. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. And right now there's a great opportunity, especially in the Ottawa area. Now, I wouldn't say that the opportunity is in Ottawa proper, but we're talking about the surrounding areas, secondary and tertiary markets. We're talking about Onprior, Pembroke. We're talking about Prescott, Cornwall. We're talking about Brockville. All this area, all these secondary markets, Smith Falls, all these Carlton Place, all these areas are going to develop, and you're going to experience some significant cap rate compressions. And so this is the time. This is the time. And so what that boot camp is about, the boot camp that we have coming up March 6th, 7, 8, it's all about optimizing and maximizing the opportunities that are coming our way. We'll hold the questions to the end. This is Mihaela, me. I will get also the proper pronunciation of your name. We'll save the questions to the end. So a little bit about me. I immigrated to Canada as a refugee, in in the 80s. So I came here 1986. My mom, I was a kid, but my mom had luggage, I had a luggage, and we had $30 to our name. That's it. My mom's a single mother, and I grew up in Ottawa, Ottawa housing. We were on welfare, and I lost my way, and I ended up living on the streets of Ottawa at one point in my life until I had a life-changing moment when my daughter was born, and I'll share that, later on. But ultimately, uh, for someone like me to be in this position and be in a position where we built a business in Ottawa that is international, I think, from where I come from, if I can do it, anybody could do it. I'm telling you that right now. And so I've been in business for over 30 years. So I started my first company in 1995, right on Rideau Street. And I grew that business to across Canada locations. It was a clothing business, and so it was locations all across Canada. And I became a serial entrepreneur. 30 years ago, I started multiple different businesses, and I exited out of multiple different businesses. And I felt that I was very vulnerable in business. So about 26 plus years ago, I decided to go into real estate full time. And what I wanted to do is build an indestructible uh, revenue source, right? Because I felt businesses were very market dependent, and they're very volatile. And so I said I want to do something that's Armageddon proof. And so that's why I chose multifamily. That's why I chose apartment buildings. And I started about 26 plus years ago. I started right in Mechanicsville, Vanier, we call it now, Eastboro, Westboro, Eastboro, and that's where I got my start. We made millions of dollars in those markets, and then we started to grow outside of the city into secondary markets. Then we grew to across the province into Quebec, La Belle Provence. So we have assets in Quebec, we have Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, we have stuff in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and in the US. And so we built a multi-million-dollar portfolio, hundreds and hundreds of doors all across Canada and the US. And the reason I share that with you is because, look, I came here with nothing. We had $30. We lived on social housing. We were on welfare. I lived on the streets at one point. And so if I can do it, you can do it. For sure, you can do it. Now, I sold all of my companies at 30 years old. That's 18 plus years ago. And that's when I made a decision that I was going to spend the rest of my life helping as many people as possible achieve financial freedom. And so, as a real estate coach, mentor, I wanted to help people achieve financial freedom in the way I achieve financial freedom is because of the real estate. And so I'm not here for financial gain. I am here from a position of service. I want to make sure that the message goes out. I want to make sure that you have all the tools so you can be successful and so you can achieve your own freedom. Not to buy another car or a boat. I'm not about that. I'm not money driven. I'm driven by results. I'm driven by impact. I'm driven by service. And I know that if I can help you achieve financial freedom, you're going to go out and do amazing things with your life. And that's why I'm here. I'm here from a position of service. 18 plus years ago, I started my career in mentoring, coaching, speaking, and since then, I have taught thousands and thousands of students across Canada and the US, and I've created thousands of multimillionaires. And the reason I'm proud of that is because I know I've created time in people's lives. I have one of my students, her name is Kieran. She was a traveling nurse and she was overworked. She would look at pictures of her family and she wasn't in them. And this made her very depressed. And so to hear her testimony, her testimonial rather, on stage one day saying that because of the things she learned from me, she now gets to tuck in her kids every single night to me, that gives me goosebumps. It's the drive, it's the thing that keeps me going every single time. And so this is a little bit about me. If you guys want to stay connected, I'm going to share my QR code. So if you can take out your phones right now and just connect with me. This is my Instagram handle. If you don't have it already, uh, you can go directly use this QR code. And the reason I share that with you is because if you resonate with anything that you if anything I say here today, and you go and find me on Instagram, I counted it yesterday, 15 fake accounts. And so there's lots of fake Alfonso Cuadra accounts. This is the only account that I have. And so if you guys want to grab the QR code, follow me, say, Alfonso, I saw you tonight at the real estate investing masterclass. Send me a DM. You follow me, and I will follow you. Okay. And we'll stay connected. And if you need my help at any point in time, I will be here for you. Okay. So I'm going to change the slide now so you can take a screenshot or whatever, however you want to save it, or go and follow me. Okay. But make sure this is the only account that is me. I only have one Instagram account. This is it. All right, so let's talk about these tariffs. Okay, so we don't know what's going on, and it did freak people out, and it reminded me of March of 2020, where everybody just freaked out. Remember the toilet paper? Everybody was running for the toilet paper. We need the toilet paper. Well, um, I get it. People tend to fear, panic. It's emotional, and people lose their ability to rationalize. And it feels like there's no control. People feel scared. They're paralyzed. Media takes over, and media loves this because this is their opportunity to make some serious profits. And so people started selling while everybody was freaking out. Real estate was on sale, and it was a small little window of opportunity. And I jumped online, and I told everybody, guys, you got to move, you got to take action now. And we couldn't talk to anybody, so all I had was YouTube. So I jumped on YouTube, and I started sharing with everyone. And it's like, now in hindsight, people said, well, how did you know? Well, there's not much to know. All you got to understand is market cycles. And once you understand market cycles, you understand that there's, what goes down is going to go back up. And so, when things soften, this is your opportunity to take action. Any wealthy person will tell you that. No one says no one says buy high and sell low. No one says that ever, right? And the key is in the strategy, in the formula, in the fundamentals, and the asset classes that you are into. And so I jumped online. So if you haven't already, I would suggest that you go to my YouTube channel and you subscribe. I have 1,700 videos, and I'm like a real estate vlogger. Really, is what I do. I like to share the things that I'm doing, silly things, hanging out with my daughter, going on vacations, buying real estate, hanging out with my students. And back in 2020 is really when I first started jumping on online, and I was sharing everything that I was doing, the market, everything, everything, everything. And the thing is that some people love what I was doing. I was buying during COVID, and I was sharing everything that I was doing. And some people lashed out, right? And I get it. I put myself out there. I'm vulnerable. You got to grow a thick skin. And I grew a thick skin because the mission is more powerful than any type of insults anybody could have for me. But I get it. People lash out when they're scared. It's just it's how it works, you know. And that comment section, this is some people, dude, you should get a real job like the rest of us. And so people are kind of mean. But I get it. I get it. When people are scared, they lash out. Be fearful when others are greedy, but be greedy when others are fearful. And so when people are fearful, it is a sign of opportunity. That's how it works. This is Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of our time. And whether you're investing in the stock market, whether you're investing in real estate, whether you're investing in businesses, this this remains to be true. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. So you got to do what the opposite of what everybody else is doing. And I know it's hard. Back in 2020, I'm at the top of the rooftops shouting to everybody, guys, you got to take action now. You got to take action. And people were like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it doesn't look like any opportunity. Where is the opportunity? I don't know what you're talking about. But if we look back, we're like, whoa, we were living through massive opportunity. And so that's what the boot camp is about. We're going to take 3 days. It's a real estate investor accelerator. It's a 3 day intensive boot camp. So, 9 to 5, uh, all day. If you can't make one of the days because you have work, call in sick. Tell them you got COVID, whatever. But you have to make your way here. That's the only way you're going to learn how to optimize and maximize the opportunities that are in front of us. So March 6th, 7th, and 8th, that's not this weekend, but the next weekend. I'm currently in Los Angeles right now. We have a big, massive event here in Los Angeles, something like 200 people, and that's this Saturday. Then I'm flying out to Ottawa to hang out with my people. This is Mike. Mike, he at 21 years old, he came to that same boot camp. And before that boot camp, Mike was depressed. He actually said to me, I don't feel like I'm ever going to be able to buy real estate. Like, some of the young people today, they feel like that's so out of their range or their ability to do it. And, it can be depressing, right? Because one of the things that, we all want to strive for is property ownership. And if that's not even in the cards for you, you're just like, whatever. So, he came, he learned all the steps, he learned all, how to underwrite, he learned how to buy real estate, and he bought his first 4 unit multifamily at 21 years old, 6 months after coming to this boot camp. And so this is the power of knowledge, and it can change the trajectory of your life. We've changed the trajectory of Mike's life. His second deal was a 10-unit apartment building. And so, look how happy he is in this picture. I mean, he knows that his future will forever be changed. Now, 2026 is going to bring about great opportunity. And I'm going to say the next 6 months are going to be the front end of 2026. So the next 6 months, I think this is where you got to really take the action. And we're going to go through some of the reasons but this front end of 2026, this is where you want to take all of the action. And so, yeah, the tariffs now, very much like 2020, people feel the same. No control. People are panicking. I remember back in April of 2025, March and April of 2025, people were freaking out about these tariffs. I mean, like, oh my God, that's the only thing they wanted to talk about. And you can feel very uncertain. And it was a huge distraction. But in the meantime, more inventory was piling up, interest rates were coming down. And the issue in 2025 is that each time they did a rate cut, rather, every time they did a rate cut, there was a feeling that there was going to be more rate cuts. So people have been waiting. But this year, they've already indicated to us that they're not going to, I mean, it can't get any lower. And so this is where a lot of people right now are jumping in. And so by the time everybody and their grandmother is an investor again, the opportunities are going to be very limited. The beauty that we have right now is that there's inventory. So a quick check on realtor.ca, there's double the amount of commercial listings that there was this time last year. So for the very first time, we have low interest rates and high inventory, which creates a massive opportunity for those that are going to take action. So the key to success is simply in positioning yourself in front of a wave. And that wave is coming and that wave is here. And all you got to do is take action. There's a 10-year portfolio allocation trend of high net worth individuals where they're storing their value in assets, hard assets. The biggest one being multifamily, primarily through private equity, but gold, precious metals, people are getting away from currency because they understand that it's very volatile and, inflation is just going to do its thing because they're going to have to print a lot of money. So your biggest expense isn't your rent or your taxes or your mortgage. It's actually lost opportunities, not taking action when you know you should have taken action. Imagine you can go back and talk to yourself in 2020. What would you say to yourself to do more of in terms of real estate if you can go back to 2020? Well, I bet you would say, buy more, buy more. That's exactly what you would say. So different times require different strategies. So there was a time where, I would say all real estate was good. But those times are gone because they have printed so much money. They have devalued money that they've created massive inflation where the smaller real estate no longer makes sense as an investment. So that, what your grandparents told you to buy a house to live and one to rent and everything's going to be okay, those days are gone because that single family house or those smaller properties are not going to help you achieve your goals. And so, what you need to learn is the most important thing, the cash flow first approach. And this is in a way of evaluating properties that pay you every single month. It doesn't matter what the market is doing. You should be able to profit in any market. So this is something new for a lot of you. And you're about to enter something that maybe is going to make you feel uncomfortable, but stay with me. So on the left-hand side, you have the traditional type of investment, which is a single family house. On the right-hand side, you have what we call a multifamily. Well, here in the US, they call it multifamily. Okay, so I'm in the US right now, and every time I speak in the US, I'm so conscious, but I just can't say multifamily. I just can't say it. It doesn't flow. I say multifamily, but the second I say multifamily, they're like, "You're Canadian, aren't you?" So it comes out. But multifamily is is an asset class that has always been there. So I'm not teaching anything new, but it wasn't always accessible to the average person. And the systems that we've created and what we've done over the past 26 plus years, we've made it available to anyone that even wants to start at multifamily. And so that's what those 3 days are about. We're not only going to help you, um, you know, optimize and maximize all the opportunities that are happening right now, but we're also going to help you transition into this new asset class whether you're just starting out or you've been investing for a while, even if you have multifamilies already in your portfolio, I'm the guy that gets the call every single time when people want to level up because this is what I've been doing my entire career. And so all I want to do is teach as many people as possible because if I can do it, anybody can do it. The problem with the house is that it's got too many leaks. The house you got to pay taxes, you got to pay gas, you got to pay your electric bill, you got to pay mortgage, you got to pay insurance, you got to pay repairs and maintenance, lawn and snow, property management, vacancies, the water bill. I can go on and on and on and on with all of the leaks that this house has. And the problem is not the expenses, because we know that all real estate has expenses. But the problem is that you only have one income, one tenant, one customer, one client. And imagine being in business with only one client. You're very vulnerable. And so the problem is if that tenant moves out, you're now 100% vacant. And now you have to pay all of these leaks out of your own pocket. And so the beauty about multifamily is that you have more tenants bringing in more income, which means that you have more money to service all of the expenses. And if one person moves out, it's a non-event for you. So you spread the risk amongst multiple units. Not only that, you're tapping into the economies of scale. You make it easier to manage, it's easier to finance. Oh, by the way, it's actually easier for you to finance a larger apartment building than it is for you to finance a small residential property, primarily because of the mortgage and the mechanics of how you're going to do this. For example, for residential property, the way you qualify for the mortgage is through looking at your debt to income ratio, the ratio between how much money you're going to make and how much debts you have. So it's all about you. With commercial real estate, apartment buildings, multifamily, it's tapping into that commercial financing where the way they qualify the asset, they qualify the property first, not you. It's based on the DCR, the debt coverage ratio. Two very different things. You have one that's dependent on you, but for multifamily, it's dependent on the asset. You see, it's like a small business. In a small business, you're going to see the P&Ls, the profit and loss statements. And so, how profitable is this property, and does it bring enough money to cover its own debt? That is what the lender is looking for. And so that's a whole different type of criteria. That means the amount of mortgages that you can get is infinite as long as the property can qualify, not you. It doesn't matter if you have a business. I told you I've been in business since 1995. The last time I was employed, I had a job right before I started my business. That was 1995. I have not been employed since 1995. That's over 30 years. And yet I have millions and millions and millions of dollars in mortgages. And so, this is a whole other game. And it's actually more of a fast track for a lot of you. And especially if you've been doing this a while, come to the boot camp and let me show you how to really dial into it and go to the next level. So not only is it easier to manage, it's easier to finance, but it also it's also less risk because multifamilies have always outperformed any other asset class during economic downturns. So when we see situations like where we are today during, we're going through an economic downturn, whether you believe we're in a recession or not, the government's always lying to us. We don't know what's going on, but we can feel that we're in an economic downturn. It doesn't matter if we're in a full-blown recession right now. Maybe some provinces are more, um, you know, they're experiencing negative GDPs than other ones, but ultimately, generally speaking, we are currently in economic downturn, and multifamily has always outperformed any other asset class because you're not selling. The worst time to sell a property is when you have to. The beauty about multifamily, you always have the income coming in, and so you're not selling. Guess what? It doesn't matter AI, automation, robotics, uh, whatever, internet, whatever. People will always have to live somewhere. You know that. And so that is until we're living in pods like the Matrix, well, people will always have to live somewhere. And so if you're not selling, you just simply collect the rents and that's it. You service the debt. That's it. That's all. That's how it works. And so with multifamily, you have higher income at a lower with a lower cost per unit. So it's more profitable. You have lower vacancy rates. And so right now we're experiencing some higher vacancy rates. It's harder to fill units. So if you have those smaller properties, for example, a single family home, if someone moves out, you're 100% vacant versus a multifamily where you have 16 units and somebody moves out. Well, you still have 15 other units paying you rent. And so it's a non-event for you. And so you have lower vacancy rates, you have forced appreciation, so the value add strategy is huge with these type of asset classes. You have stability in value and you isolate yourself from market volatility. So while the market is doing this, when people are in a roller coaster, like even gold has been on a bit of a roller coaster. Bitcoin, I mean, I don't even know how people sleep at night if I had any type of investment in the money markets. And you know how Warren Buffett sleeps? It's because he's not selling. And if you're not selling, you can't lose. The problem is people go in, go out, go in, go out, go in, go out on their investments. And so if you bought Bitcoin at $12,000 a Bitcoin, you're sleeping, you're okay. You're still okay. And so, at the end of the day, that forced appreciation, right? That value add strategy is huge in apartment buildings. So it doesn't have to even be dependent on the income. It's also by reducing the expenses. So you get to participate, even though the market is going up and down, you can still do things in your property to increase the value of your property. So that's what this boot camp is about. We're going to spend 3 days and we're going to show you how you multifamily and building your own multifamily. So we're going to go through multifamily, land development, US investing, and we're going to show you where you can find the capital. Maybe you have some capital right now, which is fine, but we're going to also help you do it with no money out of your own pockets if this is what you wanted to do. There's some questions in the chat. Multifamily is commercial. So multifamily for me starts at two, right? So a single is one, multifamily is two. Now, the question that you want to ask is it a residential mortgage or is it a commercial mortgage? A residential mortgage is is a mortgage that is dependent on your debt to income ratio. So if you got a 6 unit apartment building, but you have a residential mortgage on it, which you can, RBC will, I think up to 6 units, they will consider it to be residential. So that means you can get that mortgage based on your debt to income ratio. What what I want to show you is how to tap into the commercial financing. So multifamily, to get the mortgage on a multifamily, you have to get commercial financing. And some banks will look at a 4 unit and consider it to be commercial. Some banks will look at 7 and up. I would say the majority of banks, 7 units and up would be commercial financing. Some will look at 6 and 5s, but the majority of the banks is 7 and up. But the more units is the better. So if you're taking notes, the most important number is the number of units, the number of doors in the property. So what we want to show you is how to tap into larger multifamily, where you can tap into that commercial, that commercial financing. And that commercial financing is key because it doesn't matter whether you have a job, this and that. Some of they are going to consider other things, but we can help you achieve those things. It's a lot easier than trying to show a T4 and trying to qualify for these, now a single family house is $800,000. Well, for you to qualify with a debt to income ratio, you have to make $100,000 a year. That's crazy, right? And so, you know, forget about that and learn how to do this business the right way. And it's a safe way. It's a safer way of doing things. And so that's what that boot camp is about. And so this is our educational philosophy. It starts with the mindset. So do you have a growth mindset or do you have a fixed mindset? If you have a growth mindset, that means that you're open and available to new ideas, new ways of doing things. If you're fixed, it means that everything you know is what you know, and if you know everything, there's nothing left to teach you. And so we can't deliver the knowledge if the mindset is not there first. If you don't have a growth mindset. And then ultimately, you have to take the knowledge and take action, right? It's not going to just happen on its own. You have to take action. That's the key. If you do nothing, nothing will happen. You can't expect to have results when you didn't do anything. This is Luis and Tony. Both of them worked for the government, and they attended the same boot camp that we have coming up, the Accelerator. And now they raise millions of dollars. They're investors all across Canada, and they're full-time investors. They've left their government jobs. Actually, Luis told me that he would leave the morning when he was working, and on Monday morning he would get a sick feeling in his stomach because he'd have to go into work. They just hated that job, and so now they left the job and they're full-time investors, and they spend the majority of their winters traveling. So this 3-day intensive is, it's all about showing you joint ventures. We're going to show you how to raise capital. If you're in a position where you either want to invest your capital or you want to raise capital, we're going to show you how to do this the right way. We're going to show you how to invest into multifamily, how to build your own multifamily using the MLI Select program, which is the program that we've been using. So I've built multiple different properties all across the Ottawa area. We built in Pryor, Prescott. We're building right now in Brockville, Pembroke, and we've done it with little to no money out of our pockets using the MLI Select program. So we're going to go through in detail exactly what that means and how it works. It's basically a government incentive that allows you to put little to no money into building. Now, it does come with some requirements and it's subject to change really quickly. And so, again, the next 6 months is that window of opportunity. We're going to also show you how to take all the information and everything you're learning and apply it to investing directly into the US, if this is what you wanted to do. And we'll have a segment on that. We'll also talk about raising capital, show you how to do proper syndications, general partnerships, limited partnerships, real estate investment trusts, REITs, MFTs. These are all things that I do and I've created, and I have lots of students that do this. And so we're going to talk to it. We're going to show you all the legal structures of it. On the Sunday morning, we're going to go through corporate structures. We'll go through asset protections, the exact structure that I've created in order to allow people to invest into my particular deals. It's a full 3-day intensive. I would say if you went to university, you will learn more in these 3 days I mean, depending. I don't know if you went to took medicine in school or whatever, but a lot of the people that have gone to university, they tell me in these 3 days, they learn more than they did in their entire degree. So we're going to go through underwriting. We'll go through multifamily. We'll show you how to identify the markets. Specifically, if you're in the Ottawa area, there's so much opportunity. I'm in Los Angeles right now. I speak all over Canada and the US. I live in Ottawa. People's biggest excuse for me is always, yeah, Alfonso, it's easy for you to say because you're from Ottawa. Okay, well, I don't know what the excuse is going to be for my Ottawa people, but there is opportunities there. I would say that we do have a competitive advantage if you live in the Ottawa area, even Montreal. This whole area is very different, operates very different than Toronto. See, Toronto is very volatile, right? Because things go up and they go up so much that they can come down. And as they're on their way down, Ottawa can see this and adjust accordingly. So Ottawa is a government town. It's got job stability, and the market is just going to continue to grow out. And it's so predictable, guys. I mean, it's easy. It's okay. I can't say it's easy. I would say it's simple. It's simple but not easy. I'll tell you that. But you guys got to come and learn the fundamentals and how this stuff works. And so we're going to go through that. We're going to show you how to negotiate hundreds of thousands of dollars in deals and from the asking price. One of the things that people get frustrated in is they go on realtor.ca, they look at prices and they get frustrated. They're like, "Oh my God, this is so expensive." But they never learn how to negotiate. they don't learn, they never learn how to build a deal flow management system so you can have deals coming to you. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to show you how to build brand new apartment buildings. We'll show you how to use the MLI Select program, and we're going to show you land development. So a boot camp like this, you're not scaring anybody, with $1,900. I took a mini MBA. So I don't know if you guys have done it. It's McGill University offers this mini MBA. It's an entire MBA program compressed to a 10-day intensive program, and the investment is it's super reasonable. It's about 15 grand, and it's super reasonable because you're compressing time, right? So I took an entire MBA program and I'm compressing it to 10 days, right? And so that's called the mini MBA. So 1900 bucks, you're really not scaring anybody, but we do have a early bird price of 487, 487. And so that early bird price is for anybody that was buying, in time, within these times. We also have an additional offer on that early bird, but because it's my Ottawa people and including Montreal, so I see there's one of our friends in here is from Montreal. I'm going to do something crazy, and if you're in Montreal and I do this crazy thing, my friend from Montreal, you have to book your hotel, right? Because 1900 bucks, okay, I would say, okay, got to think about it or whatever. But this is what I want to do. $87. 87 bucks. $87. And you got to use this promo code Cuadra. So I want you to write it down. Write the promo code down, Cuadra, which is my last name, Cuadra, Cuadra, Cuadra. 87 bucks. 87 bucks. And it's almost like dinner for two. Less than dinner for two. Actually, bring two. Two people for $87. Two people for $87. March 6, 7, 8. That's my gift to you, my Ottawa friends. And so this is what you're going to get. It's a 3-day intensive training. You're going to get my 20-step walkthrough checklist, the same checklist that I've been using for 26 plus years. On site, we'll have professional real estate investors. We have we'll do a portfolio analysis with you, and we'll do a personal strategy session. So you're going to leave this event with a 90-day action plan. You're going to get a workbook, and you're going to have the ability to bring a free guest. 87 bucks. So take a picture of this QR code. Do what you got to do. This is the QR code. Scan it, and I'm going to see you guys there. Now, here's my promise. There's two things that's going to happen. Either we sell out, so I'm only made this available to 30 people. So I was in Ottawa. We did a real estate wealth expo where I presented, and we already sold 27 tickets. So there's about 3 tickets. I might allow another 5 more people, let's say, and that's it. The reason for that is really because we wanted to make an intimate setting. You want to have the ability to ask questions, right? And so if there's too many people here, if there's too many people, you can't ask your questions. So either we sell out and we get to the 30 tickets, or it will expire, just like Mission Impossible. So Mission Impossible, that this message will expire the next 30 seconds. Well, you have more than 30 seconds. You have 48 hours. Okay. So we made this offer available for the next 48 hours. It's available to you. I will be posting this video on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, it's basically 48 hours from the moment it was posted. We're going to post this right away the second I get off this call. I'll post it, and it's 48 hours from the moment that we post this deal on the YouTube channel, or it sells out and we close out the event. Now, here's what I'll say. If on day one, the first day, the Friday, you don't believe you got 10 times your investment in value, we'll refund you, no questions asked. That's my 100% money back guarantee. You can't go wrong. So that's Ottawa this weekend, the following weekend. And that's the end of the my event. I'll leave this QR code here for just a moment, and I'll open it up for a few questions, and then we will call it a day. I can probably stay here for another couple of minutes. So actually, I'll stop the recording here, and I'll give you an opportunity to